Well, I just recorded this review and I didn't press record, so let's try this again. So this weekend I saw Man The Reze Arc, and what a time to be alive. This is the second anime movie this year that has come out in movie theaters and pretty much outshined anything else in the theater that was put in. I feel like it's honestly a good thing, because if we keep doing this, not we, like I'm making these movies, but if they keep putting out these very high quality anime movies and they keep doing this well in the box office, I feel like they're going to keep releasing very high quality animes for certain arcs of certain shows. And I think it's honestly an awesome thing, because if they're anything like how Chainsaw Man was, I think that would be amazing if that were to happen. Chainsaw Man honestly exceeded all my expectations when it came to the animation, the fighting, the story, the characters, just everything was top tier. If you don't really already know Chainsaw Man, it's based off an anime series. This movie takes place right after season 1, following the Katana Man arc. And I'm not going to go too deep into what the show is, but basically it's about devils, creatures that manifest from people's fears. The stronger the fear, the stronger the devil. And you also got these group of devil hunters that hunt them, and basically carnage ensues, and you get some really cool fights with devils and hunters. There is a specific guy named Denji who happens to be like a hybrid devil slash human, and he is basically fused with the chainsaw devil, and he can make a chainsaw come out of his head and come out of his arms. He also had a pretty horrible upbringing, hasn't really experienced a lot of affection from people, so he is really into girls. So this movie picks up right after the last arc with Denji. He's a 16-year-old main character with, the lack of better words, is extremely horny. He makes a lot of his life decisions based purely on women. His goals and motivations are very different from your typical hero, let's say. In this story, he meets a new girl named Reze. First off, I love this movie. It was such a fun anime theater experience. A lot of people notice the art style looks different now from the show, and not necessarily better or worse, just different. The series had this gritty, realistic tone, and this movie leans a little bit more towards the anime side, kind of looking more so like the manga. Not fully cartoon, but just a bit softer and more stylized. It still looks gorgeous. The motion, the action, the flow, it's all super clean and very pleasing to the eyes. In this movie, the pacing is also great, and I don't mean to dog on Demon Slayer, but this movie shows that if you put the plot in the beginning and you build up your characters from the very beginning, and then you just go balls deep in action at the end, that it provides a more exciting, more exhilarating, visceral experience. I enjoyed the pacing of this movie a lot more than Demon Slayer. I felt like Demon Slayer takes some notes, because if you release another movie and then you're gonna break it up with some storytelling every single 5 minutes, I think you're gonna have an issue. But yeah, this movie, once it hits action, it never really lets go. I mean, it's action after action, blowing up buildings, dropping air raid bombs, and then you got Chainsaw Man. He's accompanied by this fiend, which is basically for lack of better terms, like a nerfed devil. And basically, he's like a great white shark, and he has some pretty cool moments. He kind of reminds me of Inosuke from Demon Slayer, actually. He's very wild, but I like that he kind of looked up to Denji. Not a lot of people look up to Denji, but he looks up to Denji, and they have some really cool moments where they just go crazy. I don't really want to spoil what it is if you don't know what it is, but they have some really cool moments, akin to riding a horse into battle, if you get what I'm saying. There's also a nice balance of humor and emotion. You think it might lean a little heavy on the melodrama, but it doesn't. It knows exactly what it is. It's Chainsaw Man. It's self-aware, it's brutal, it's surprisingly funny at times, and it follows the manga pretty much to the T, really close to the manga. As for the characters, Reze, the new character, she is awesome. She's fun. Her chemistry with Denji actually feels pretty believable, and the relationship doesn't feel forced or cringe. It just kind of works. The Bomb Devil is also super freaking cool, menacing, powerful, and visually insane. The explosions and destruction scenes are just wild. Cars, buildings, everything goes up in flames, and the animation team clearly had a blast animating it. Visually, the whole movie is stunning. The framing feels cinematic, it's super bright and colorful, and there's even a quiet slice of life moment with Makima and Denji where they go to the movie theater, and they talk about how you can watch 10 bad movies, but one great one to change your life, and I love that scene. As someone who watched tons of movies, it kind of hit home. I was like, dang, that's kind of true. But luckily, when I watched this movie, this was the only movie I had to see last night, and it was awesome. Normally, when I watch an anime movie, I'll probably check out the sub over the dub, but this time I ended up choosing the dub just because it was at a better time, and it sounded actually really good. Normally the acting just sounds terrible coming from a dub, but this one I felt like the acting sounded good. It was believable, and it didn't feel childish or cringy, and it just kind of worked. So I would recommend the dub if you're not really into subtitles. it's still a really good experience. And overall, the Chainsaw Man Reze Arc is one of my favorite movies of the month. It's brutal, it's colorful, funny, and just pure entertainment from start to finish. The animation, the pacing, the characters are just all on point. If you haven't seen the anime yet, I definitely recommend catching up. It's only 12 episodes, but I don't think you need to see the anime to watch this movie. I think it's pretty easy to follow along. And if you are a Chainsaw Man fan, then you definitely have to go see this movie, support it, give it some money so we can keep seeing high quality anime movies in theaters. But yeah, so overall, Chainsaw Man, 10 out of 10, would watch again. So I actually did end up seeing Chainsaw Man The Reze Arc again that same weekend, and I figured, you know what, this would be a good time to go over some spoilers. I didn't get a chance to film this part in front of a camera, but I still wanted to talk about a few things that I couldn't bring up earlier. One of the biggest things I love about this movie is just how artsy it is. It feels super cinematic, but also has this kind of innocent tone in the moments between Digi and Reze. They could have easily gone full fan service with their relationship, like they had like every opportunity, but instead they focused on the emotional connection between them and the things that they had in common. Like that pool scene. Denji jumps in naked and you think, oh, here it comes, that fan service time. But nope, they kind of turn it into like this sweet moment where Reze teaches him how to swim. And you don't really think anything about it until later, but they're actually both in the same situation in life. Denji is being used by Makima and the public safety devil hunters, and Reze is literally a Russian weapon trained and controlled to carry out missions. Both of them are being manipulated by someone above them. Neither one of them ever truly lived a normal teenage life. And that's what makes all these little moments hit so hard. Reze was originally supposed to kill Denji right there in the phone booth area when he eats the flower, but something in her changes. She sees how innocent and awkward he is and decides not to kill him. When you watch this for the first time, you think, oh, this is cool, Denji is finally living life. But then you realize Reze is also experiencing that same feeling, maybe even more so. And they handle all of that without making it feel cringy or overly sexualized. It feels pretty nostalgic, actually. That early teenage first love feeling, they captured that vibe perfectly. And oh man, the music, the piano score during the pool scene, beautiful. Then when it plays again at the ending, now in a totally different emotional context, that hit pretty hard. The way the memories fade in, blurry visuals, and almost like flashes on how we remember things from childhood, it was done so well. Next, the art style during the action. I love how they weren't afraid to stretch and smear animation during the fast movements, especially in the cyclone fight. It's chaotic, it's blurry, and it's exactly how fighting a tornado probably would be. Or that scene where Reze snaps her fingers and blows away the volunteer hunters. The flame blast looks like it's flying hundreds of feet, even though they're only maybe 15 feet apart. They exaggerate the motion to make you feel the power instead of just seeing it, and I think that's sick. And the action, it's brutal, like when she rips her head off and tosses it like a bomb and goes boom. And honestly, these fights are some of the most fun I've had in anime in a long time. I really like Demon Slayer, but I think Chainsaw Man handles the pacing way better. Once the action takes off, it does not slow down. And the ending, Reze's death. That was pretty rough. Sad endings stick with you, and this one definitely does. It comes full circle, everything they built emotionally gets ripped away, and makes the story way more memorable. Even though it's straight up from the manga, seeing it animated was just, yeah, it was pretty hurtful. So yeah, overall the movie is thoughtful, emotional, funny, explosive, colorful, everything I love about Chainsaw Man dialed all the way up. The relationship works, the art works, the action is insane, the music hits, and if they keep the same level of quality for future arcs, dude, we're in for some crazy stuff. Anyway, that's my spoiler talk. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and the full review too. If you haven't seen the movie yet, I mean, you probably should have by now, but definitely check it out. I'll see you on the next one. Deuces.